What's up, everybody? It's Nadia here, and today we're going to be talking about tips on how to get your first few signings. But before we get into that, I just wanted to give you guys a little life update with me. I have not been posting videos or commenting as often because recently I unfortunately lost my mother. I lost her actually last December, Christmas Day, and we were very close. She was my best friend. And I had this whole plan to kind of vlog my month as a loan signing agent and to, kind of be more consistent in videos. But obviously, all of that came to a halt once my mother passed. And now I'm starting to get back into it slowly. December was a rough month, even before my mother passed, just because my other business was selling because it was the holidays, so I didn't get as much loan signings prior to that anyway. And then also January, I decided to take January off just to collect myself personally and to kind of regroup for my other business. So now in February, I'm kind of getting back into the groove of things, and I definitely wanted to give you guys some of these tips while it's still fresh in my mind, and didn't want that to slip away. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So you have purchased your supplies, you've taken whatever courses you've wanted to take, you have signed up for signing services and got your profile together, and now you are receiving notifications, texts, emails, etc. And you're trying to snag that first signing, but you're not seeing any luck. I'm going to give you 7 tips on the things that I noticed as being a first timer. Okay, so my first tip for you is to be quick. So this is a very competitive market. I feel like I didn't know that. I didn't know how competitive it was coming into it, but it's definitely more competitive than I expected, meaning that there are tons of loan signing agents that want the same job that you want. So when I say be quick, that means make sure that your phone is not on vibrate, that it's not on silent, have your alerts and volume up. It means to respond quickly to if you are available. It also means just be very responsive. So once you get that text message and you see what the document is, so that you know if you're capable of doing that document or if you're familiar with it. Once you see the document, the location, the date, and the time, go ahead and hit available. And I say this because if you are not hitting available within 30 seconds to a minute, or at least under 2 minutes of receiving that notification, it's already gone. Somebody else has already snagged it up. So just be mindful that you can't really dilly-dally around and kind of like say, well, how far is it? Oh, what's the date? Let me look back at my calendar. Let me see if it's clear. You don't have time for that. So already kind of have an idea of what the date is, already know what kind of plans and things you have going on, your schedule, and where your openness is, so that as soon as you can just scan the availability, the date, the location, all of that stuff, you could just go ahead and hit it and do it quickly. Typically, when you respond fast, then you may be able to, you're more likely to possibly get that signing. So just be mindful of that. Make sure you're responsive, make sure you're alert. Also keep in mind that when you're reading what type of document it is, if you do not have a scanner, do not select it if it requires scan backs. You'll thank me later. Tip number 2 is to look out for the evening or late night text messages. What I mean by this is that my first couple of signings that I received as a newbie were actually text messages in the evening. So I live on the East Coast, and while everybody is getting home, settling down, eating dinner, just winding down from the day and getting ready for bed, on the West Coast, they are still working. So just be mindful of that you might actually be getting text messages, because while it's 7 o'clock on the East Coast, it is only 4 o'clock there and their workday is not over. So I would say at least 3 of the signings that I've received have been late evening text messages, meaning I've gotten a text message at 8:30 at night. I've gotten text messages at 7 p.m. So my advice and tip to you would be to make sure your phone is on, make sure it is around you even in the evening times, because you just never know. And typically they'll respond a lot faster in the evening. I don't know why, but they will respond a lot quicker. And typically those signings, I heard back immediately that I got them. So that was tip number 2. Okay, so the next tip is a tip that I got from a seasoned loan signing agent. She said this was something that she did a lot in the very beginning, and that was to call the signing service right after you hit that you were available. So I thought this was a good tip. I've only personally tried this twice. The first time I didn't call the correct person, and then the second time it was already assigned to somebody. But I do think that this is a strong tip, especially if you want more business. This is something that I'm definitely going to do if I want to go ahead and get more signings than I'm getting and be a little more aggressive, and call them right after I accept. But I will also say that hold on, 2 things. So I'll say that when I did recommend this to somebody, they said that they did that and they got the signing immediately. So I think this is a really strong tip. So the other thing is, if you are trying to do this method, I would recommend that you screenshot the actual notification. So once you click that link, once you get the text and click the link, it's going to show you like how much it pays, the documents, all that information. Go ahead and screenshot that, especially if you know you're getting ready to call them, because typically once you hit I'm available, you will not be able to go back to that page. And that's the only page that's going to actually let you know what the signing service is, okay? So the platforms like SnapDocs or signing orders, those are not the actual signing services. The signing services use those platforms, but that's not them. You want the actual signing service so that you can call and say, hey, I see that you had a signing in the area. I hit that I was available. Can I be assigned? So you're basically just asking them to go ahead and assign you to the actual appointment. If you screenshot it, you'll be able to figure out who that signing service was after you hit available, because if you don't, you won't be able to go back to that page or see that response. I think the only ones that will let you revisit your response and maybe change it is SnapDocs. Everybody else, once you hit available, you no longer can go back to that. Sometimes it'll just say the name, sometimes it might say the number as well, but even if it just says the name, you can Google it, give them a call, and ask if they'll assign you to the appointment. My tip number 4 is to pick up the weird, strange, toll-free phone numbers. And I'm saying this because I am the type of person that if I don't know the number, I do not pick up. I wait for it to go to voicemail, and people can leave a voicemail, and if I need to return the call, I'll return the call. But in this line of work, you can't do that. You have to pick up the phone calls. I know for me, I don't want to talk to telemarketers. I don't want to talk to bill collectors, but they have similar numbers. So for me, at the end of the day, if it is a bill collector, if it is a marketer, you can always hang up. You can always say, you know, I'm not interested, whatever the case may be. But I would definitely pick up those strange 1888 numbers, 1866 numbers, out of town numbers, because those more than likely are going to be probably a signing service. And I truly believe that I missed out on quite a few signings in the very beginning because I did not pick up the phone call. So basically, you may have some people that text you and go ahead and assign you that assignment through email or through text message. But you also have signing services who, once you accept it, they give you a call just to talk, see if you have any questions, make sure you're actually available, make sure that you have a clear understanding of what they're looking for, and then they will assign you. So just keep that in mind to make sure that you're actually picking up the phone calls. And typically after you hit available, that phone call may come as soon as 5 minutes from when you accept it, or to an hour or later. So just be mindful of that when you are accepting those appointments. Tip number 5 is be open to unfamiliar locations. So if you live somewhere in the rural area, or if you are on the outskirts of the city, you may be a little more familiar with some of these smaller towns or suburbs that other people are not familiar with, and that is a huge advantage. Quite a few of my signings have actually been places that are 20 minutes from me, but maybe 40 minutes from other people, just because I live in the county and not the city. I also would say other unfamiliar locations, you may want to be aware of, because that could be something that Other people don't know where it is, and neither do you, but you're more willing to travel there because you haven't had your first signing yet. So just keep that in mind. Definitely be familiar with like your surrounding areas that may not be that popular, surrounding counties, but then also be okay with kind of traveling a little bit to places that you've never heard of, because 9 times out of 10, if you've never heard of it, they've never heard of it, and they probably automatically think it's far. So just keep that in mind. Typically, if you do see something that is a little further out, you might have a little more grace time to look it up and maybe Google it to see how far exactly it is from you. But that's just something to keep in mind, that you still have to be alert. But if you can be quick with the fingers and copy paste and figure out exactly where or how much distance is going to be from where your home is, then by all means do that, and hopefully you'll get accepted. All right, so this next tip you probably heard quite often, and that is to sign up for more signing services. Some people recommend that you should sign up for 100. Some people may not say a number, but all in all, they're saying sign up for more. So I definitely feel like this is a good tip. This is another tip that I haven't necessarily put a lot of effort into. I've maybe signed up for about 5. No, I take that back. I've signed up for at least a dozen signing services, but I've only heard back from about 5. And only about 5 send me notifications and text messages and alerts. But I do see how signing up for more signing services will definitely increase your chances, definitely increase your notifications, so that you have more options in clicking that you're available to do the signing. So I guess it's in the hope that the more and more and more signing services you sign up for, the more and more and more chances you actually have in actually getting one of those signings. There are some signing services that may send you something every day. It may depend on the area. And then there's other signing services that may only send you something once a week. So with all in all, and just the differences in how often they, the frequency and how often they actually send, if you sign up for more signing services, you're automatically going to get consistent notifications and more signings available to you. So keep that in mind as well. All right, so my last tip is to be on the lookout at the end of the month. Loans have to be closed by a certain date if they want to close that month. So banks are looking to get all that information finalized before the end of the month. So you may see a fluctuation of alerts and text messages and emails for everyone trying to get their loan in on time. So this means that as newbies, our chances are going to be increased and greater to snag a loan during this time because it's so much activity going on. Plus, the season loan signing agents are probably already booked and busy, so it's less people to compete with. In closing, I hope you guys enjoyed these tips. I hope they were helpful. Please comment below if they were helpful, or if you tried a couple of these things and you were able to actually snag your first signing. All right, until next time, take care. Peace.